In this video, we will show you how to replace your front door lock actuator on this Chevy Tahoe. This will be located inside of your front door. Let's get into it. Let's start removing the door panel by removing this top trim panel first. We'll use a plastic trim tool for this. Carefully get in between this area and gently pry it out of position. Now we can move along to removing our door lock lever. Use a small screwdriver, get in between here, and pry it out of position. Let's give that a quick inspection. Set it aside. Behind that area, you'll find a 7mm headed bolt. Go ahead and remove it. Now let's move down to where the inside door handle is. You'll find that you have another trim panel to remove. Just pop this out of place. Now let's move down here and remove our courtesy light using a small pocket screwdriver. Just get under here and pop it out of place. Disconnect the electrical connector. Give each area a quick check for corrosion. We'll tuck the wire inside. Now along this side, you're going to find that you have a small plastic cover. We'll remove that with our small pocket screwdriver. And we can use a T20 Torx bit to remove the mounting screw. Now we can make our way over to the other side of the door panel, and we'll remove this push clip using a trim tool. Just pry that right out of place. Quick inspection, set it aside. Now if you were to look underneath the inside door handle, you'll find that you have a 7mm headed bolt. Remove it. Now we can take hold of that door panel. We're going to lift it straight up and start pulling it away from the door. But keep in mind there is wiring behind this area. We'll use our small pocket screwdriver so we can remove this area. Gently pry up against that tab. We can push it through. Give this a little twist. Bring it out towards the center. Now let's turn the door panel so we have access to all of the bottom of the window switch area. You'll find that you have several electrical connectors to disconnect. We'll use our small pocket screwdriver, carefully get in this area, gently press on the locking tab, and pull out the wiring connector. As always, we'll check it for corrosion, and we can set that aside. We'll continue down the line. Can set this aside. For this one, it's a little bit different. You're going to have to press in on this little black tab before you lift up on the gray locking connector. Now we can tug this out of position. Move along to this one. Remove the door panel. Now with that door panel out of the way, let's continue on to removing this rod from the inside door handle. On this, you'll find that you have a small white connector. You can use a small pick or a small screwdriver and gently pry that out of place. Be careful not to break it because you will be reusing it. Now let's start removing the vapor barrier from this area. We don't have to remove the entire thing, just in the area that we are working. With the vapor barrier pulled out of the way, let's have a clear look at the inside of the latch. On your latch assembly, you're going to find that you have a couple rods leading to it, and you also have some wire connectors. Let's start by removing the rods. To do that, I'm going to use an angled pick. We'll start with the yellow connector down here. We'll just get underneath this ear and gently pull it away. Once you have that separated, you can remove the rod from the area. Now let's continue following these rods up a little bit. You're going to find another connector, but this one's red. Let's pry this out of place and remove the rod as well. Now we can move to our two electrical connectors. We'll start with the lower one first. Go ahead and lift that tab away, gently pull it out of place, and give it a quick check for corrosion. Continue following the wiring harness up a little bit. You'll find one more electrical connector. Now let's make our way out of the door. We're going to continue by dislodging the door lock rod. Now we can make our way out here to the outboard side of the door latch. On this, you're going to find that you have 3 T27 screws holding it in place. Remove all 3, but keep in mind, these are the last things holding this in place in the door. As I remove the final one, I'll be holding on to the inside door latch. Now we can start removing this with the rod still attached. Once we have it out of place, we'll continue on to dislodging those rods. Let's get this electrical connector. There it is, friends. All right, friends, let's get ready to prepare our brand new door lock actuator. We'll rest this on the bench next to the original. Swap over each of the rods one at a time so you don't mix them up. To remove the rods, we'll use a trim tool or a small prying device and gently pry it out of place. Press that into position in the new lock actuator. Give it a wiggle to make sure it's completely secure. Let's get back over to the vehicle. Let's slide this into place. Align your 3 mounting bolt holes, start in each of those mounting bolts, and then snug them up. Now we can reach in and start reconnecting our electrical connectors. We'll start with the gray connector. Line that up and press it in. Let's get this other connector in place. Now we can do the last connector down along the bottom. Now we can start dealing with our rods. Let's press the top one into the red locking connector. We'll bring this down to lock the rod in the proper position. Now we can do the lower rod. We'll slide that into the yellow locking connector and lock that in position as well. Now we can bring the lock rod up into position and we'll latch it in. Once it's in, just make sure that it still functions properly. Now we can put the vapor barrier back in place. Now we can reattach the rod for the inside door handle. We'll make sure we lock it in position. Now let's get ready to install that door panel. Reconnect all of your electrical connectors. Now we can start putting this in position. Let's make sure we grab this and pull it out as well. Let's install this on the door panel. Now we can get this installed. Listen for a click. Slide this into position. Lock it into the door panel. Let's move along to the door handle trim piece. Looking along the back side, you can tell that the forward end has a little hook that needs to slide around the door panel. And tug on this. We'll start the forward side in first. And now latch it in. Now we can put in the screw that goes just above that. Now we can install our Torx head screw. Get this in position. Install your plastic cover. Let's get that push clip in here. Now we can put in the screw that goes behind the door lock. Continue on to the door lock lever. You'll find along the back side you have a hole. You want to make sure it lines up with the door lock rod. Press this into position. Continue on to your last trim piece. Let's take this and slide it into position, align our push tabs, and lock it in. All right, friends, we fully installed our door lock actuator latch assembly. Let's continue on to testing it. We'll use a 1/4-inch extension. Come right in this area and put it in the locked position. Now what I'm trying to do is trying to tug it inboard. At this point, while I'm holding pressure, I'll pull on that inside door handle and see if it releases. As you can tell, it functions properly. At this point, you can go ahead and close the door to test it once again. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.